Hello, I'm Steve Lentini, and this is Season 1, Episode 9 of Different Thinking for Different Times. I'm your host. This week, we'll continue the discussion about waking up and what that means, and why waking up and jumping into your life can be a conscious creation, and how to do it, and what's involved. So first of all, if you'd like a copy of my book, Wake Up, Jump Into Your Life, it's a workbook. You can take this course yourself. It's self-study, and the book is $19.95. You can email me, steve@stevelentini.com. That's steve@steve, L-E-N-T as in Tom, I-N-I.com. You'll enjoy it. If you don't, send it back. I'll return your money. Money back guaranteed. The journey, though, is not guaranteed because a lot of people would prefer to be asleep in their life. They'd prefer to have a story to tell everyone. They'd prefer to be the victim rather than be a powerful co-creator with life itself. A great book to support the work that I'm doing, and there's many, by the way, is The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, and another book, The Universe Has Your Back by Gabriel Bernstein. And they're both on Amazon. So let's talk about today's message. So waking up, oftentimes we find ourselves stuck and frustrated, especially when something doesn't turn out the way that we want. We start out with a plan for our day, and then something shows up that requires your immediate attention, and we're angry and we're throwing things around, or we're really frustrated and doing whatever shows up. We're doing the chore that showed up, or we're fixing something that broke, or we're having to pick someone up, or we've got to go to the doctor or bring a pet to the vet, or whatever it is. We're angry instead of being fully present and mindful in doing it. And what we forget is what Eckhart Tolle says is that, this must be the plan. It's just a simple surrender to the moment. And what happens when we have lack of presence is we don't enjoy it. So we fight what shows up all the way, and we do it. Either we're angry, or we snap at others, or we express it in some other way. Instead of saying, this must be the plan, and bring your full attention to what shows up in the moment. So, for example, today I woke up at 3 a.m. and the wind had actually blown a window through the house that I'm renting. And it was because the side locks are broken. So I had to get up at 3 a.m. and the lamp had fallen over and a glass shade broke. And I closed the window and went back to bed. And when I got up in the morning, the window blew in again. And of course, I was going to clean up the lamp. But instead of my plan, I had to clean up the lamp, reinstall the window, figure out how to at least get it locked, which I did. I got it locked. I cleaned up the glass. And then I noticed the wind later on in the day had blown the pool cover off. And part of it was submerged under a lot of water, so I went out and got the pool cover straightened out. And there was still a lot of water on the cover, so I had to get the pump out of the shed and pump the excess water off the pool, which, by the way, is not my own. But it was either do that or let the landlord suffer the consequence of both the window. I could have left the window and not tried to fix it myself, and I could have left the pool. But I did them both and then got back to doing what was mine to do. Did I get everything done that I wanted to today? No. But I did enjoy the things that showed up. I just did them, and I brought my full attention to them. And in the past, I would have been doing them, but angry. and frustrated that they showed up. But the universe has a way of getting our attention, and the universe has a way of teaching us, helping us to learn to be mindful and present. And when we stop fighting whatever shows up and just do it with full attention, we find that we can even enjoy the interruptions that come in life. And so many people just go through their life fighting what shows up instead of surrendering to what even could be bigger and better. I had plans to working on a ClickFunnels program that I'm developing, and I had plans to do some writing. And of course, those plans were interrupted. And so the only thing I can say is I still enjoyed what showed up, and I brought my full attention to that, to both of those activities. And instead of getting upset and angry and losing my joy in the moment, I've decided and made the decision quite a few years ago not to let anything upset the joy. But that means I have to be mindful and pay attention to what shows up. And of course, I didn't spend a lot of time doing this years ago, probably until I was 50, when on November 13th, 2002, I needed an ambulance in the middle of a seminar. And then on the fifth day flatlining, I got to see what truly was important, because none of the achievements or things that I thought had so much importance and defined me were on the other side. I mean, literally, one second I was in the hospital bed, and the next second I was with one and everything, right? I was with the infinite, no body, but total consciousness. I wonder if I was given that experience so that I could teach the value of mindfulness and teach what's really important in this life. And that's what waking up is about, is understanding what's truly important. Everything we strive for, while it's good as long as it's our passion, we can't take any of our money, any of our achievements, nothing goes with us. The only thing mentioned in my life review when I was one with pure consciousness, one with the infinite, was the lives I had touched. That was amazing. It was a fantastic lesson to know it's the people I help and the lives I touch that somehow are etched into the fabric of time. I can't even tell you how. Because after my life review, where only the lives I had touched, only the good I had done was mentioned, I was asked a question: stay or go? And while there was no past or future in pure consciousness, there's only the now. That's the other thing I learned when I said, thy will be done. I had never really surrendered like that to the moment. And that's where I learned the value of surrendering to what shows up. And that when we return to that place we come from, pure consciousness, as Deepak Chopra has defined it, and what I truly experienced when I flatlined and was on the other side, the invitation to surrender to the moment that there was no past, there was no future, and I had really spent most of my life either in the past and or planning some kind of a future that would have been grand and defined me. And today, none of those things define me. It's not that they don't have value, all the things that I'm doing, but I'm only doing what really brings me pure joy. I'm only doing what's mine to do in this world. And so I have a passion every day to get up and do what's mine to do. So I'm writing and I'm recording videos and developing classes through ClickFunnels and things that I can continue to add value and pour into people, help people to find that life of joy and satisfaction, and to find that place where they wake up and jump into their life and consciously create the life they want, as opposed to fighting life. Like Eckhart Tolle also says, when you fight life, life fights you. So I invite you to just surrender to what shows up and enjoy it. Bring your total mindfulness and presence to things that are not your plan. The days that I surrender to what shows up, it's amazing how much joy I get in those episodes, in those moments, because I think of it as the universe having a sense of humor and testing me. Will I continue to surrender and to find the joy by being fully present with what shows up? At work, for example, you could just find joy in whatever shows up, even if the boss is upset. You could just go with it and say, okay, you're upset, so what could I do better? Because that's what the moment is asking you to do, to change. And see, most people really fight it. They want to take the story home. My boss was mad. He or she is such a jerk. We'd rather have the story. And it's the stories that we carry around that keep us from being mindful. So rather than think about anything that happened to you, go with it and forget the story. There's no story to be told. You don't gain anything by sharing with others all the problems you have in your life and all the challenges and how you're a victim and how you got taken advantage of at work or in a relationship or in a business partnership. Or instead, look at what's yours to learn and how can you grow, and also what's yours to contribute to this world that we live in, this miracle that we live in, because we all come with a gift. And the universe wants us to return it here in this existence. Now, I don't know if we all come back or not. I suspect we do if we don't learn our major lesson here in this life. And it takes waking up. It takes jumping into life with mindfulness and presence so that you actually are a traveler filled with joy, knowing that this could end at any second. That day that I woke up on November 13th, 2002, I had a plan like every other day until sometime around 3 p.m. when I knew I needed an ambulance. Imagine if I fought that. And somehow I knew that it was going to be a life-changing event, and I just surrendered into the whole episode. When the EMTs asked me how I was doing, I think I've said in previous episodes, I said, well, I don't know how my body's doing, but I'm grateful. And I surrendered into the whole experience, which turned into 100 days, 60 days straight, and another 40 out of the next 60 in the hospital. And so the value of surrender is something that I'm now teaching. It's in my coaching. It's in all the work that I do, my sales training programs, my programs with Everything DISC, with the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team, with PXT Select, the hiring tool I have, and the John Maxwell work that I do. All the John Maxwell learning is about having a higher power and being able to pour into people from all the learning that I'm doing, because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the studying and the reading and the writing and the videos that I do and this podcast. It matters not how many people listen, the right people do. And just surrender into the moment and start to watch what changes when an interruption comes and you just go with it. Oh, this must be the plan. Try that, though. You have to teach yourself that. You have to experiment. Don't take my word for it. If anyone ever tells you they found the way, run away. All I can tell you is start to play with your life. Have some joy with whatever shows up and go with it fully. And remember to say, this must be the plan. All right, that's this week's episode. Have a great week. See you next Thursday.